Hello, my name is Dexter Davis, and I am one of the three members of the tool group. Today I will be discussing agricultural tools and celebration tools. In this first picture, this farming instrument was found in Aztec capital city. The main instrument, developed in the early 16th century, was used for planting and plowing land. Looking outside the box, this instrument was the basis of farming families who we recognize today as innovative and unifying civilization. These people lived through the land they nurtured, the land being the main aspect of what kept the family happily together. Farming was just not a one-person job. Farming allowed for the family to work together. The women in the family would weave cloth together and make the clothes for the family. Also, they cooked the food grown by their husbands. The men of the family, as mentioned, grew, plowed, and tended to the land. Originators of studying the agriculture, the Aztec knew how to treat the land so that it can produce the highest quality of plants and food. Children helped out with whoever and whatever needed assistance. Learning how to cook or how to properly irrigate the land for maximum growth are possible methods learned by the children. Another part of the Aztec culture is the ways of celebration. In this photo we have is ceramic flute made by the Aztec. This flute, like many other instruments, was handmade from natural resources like wood, clay, and etc. Typically, the citizens of Tenochtitlan rewarded the victorious soldiers with celebrations. These celebrations included major feasts, music, and dancing. The Aztecs were very talented in playing instruments, flutes, whistles, and rattles being the main instruments of the civilization. Therefore, instruments as a flute have been around for thousands of years, concluding that the Aztecs are some of the founders of music.
This is Jared Pressenbach with the tools of warfare in Latin America. First, we have the atlatl, which was one of the many weapons used by native armies. It was the first projectile weapon developed by mankind all the way back in the late Paleolithic and was used well into the 19th century in certain areas of the world. Basically, it was a lever system. The hunter or warrior would basically hold the atlatl in his hand, and he would put a notched dart-like spear on the other end of the atlatl, and then using the same arm movement as traditional spear throwing, he could throw this dart at least double the distance and with at least double the striking power of traditional spear throwing. The atlatl was primarily used at the time of conquest as a weapon of warfare. Basically, bows had supplanted it as a hunting tool. There were reports in the Andes and Mexico of native atlatl wielders effectively killing Spanish knights. So it was definitely a powerful weapon. Despite that, it was no match for the Spanish matchlock musket. This particular example on screen was produced in Madrid, Spain around 1530. The matchlock operated basically the same way as contemporary cannons. It had a slow-burning wick that would be touched to the primer charge, which in turn ignited the gunpowder in the barrel firing the weapon. Unlike cannons and earlier tubular hand cannon-style muskets, the matchlock had a wooden stock, which helped brace the weapon, as well as preventing burns from overheated barrels. Other features, which you can see in the photo, is the trigger system linked to the snapping wick lever, which allowed the wick to be kept lit at any time when it was necessary. It also had a semi-external primer pan that could be shut when not immediately being fired, which allowed the musket to be carried in the rain without fear of soaking the gunpowder. This innovative firearm, used in conjunction with swords, pikes, and contemporary European military drill, resulted in the efficient military conquest of Latin America.
The Codex Mendoza was produced in the 1540s by the Spanish for Viceroy Antonio de Mendoza. The full codex was used by the Spanish colonists to understand Aztec culture. This page demonstrates to the Spanish the integral use of priests within Aztec society, whom were in charge of public works such as repair of temples and bridges, as well as instruction in religious ceremony. This demonstrated to the Spanish that in order to truly rule indigenous populations, they must infiltrate the spiritual complex of the New World societies. The second half of the Codex shows the importance within Nahua society of attaining war captives and the subsequent upward mobility in class that came with it. This further affirmed to the Spanish that religion was integral in every aspect of Aztec life, as captives were used in ritual sacrifice. The Spanish had many methods of spreading Christian ideas. The Rhetorica Christiana was created in 1579 by Diego Valadez, the first mestizo to enter the Dominican order. It was used to illustrate the importance of Christianity within the New World, but more importantly within Mexico. It provides a visual tool for the Spanish to promote Christianity. The depiction of the obvious leaders within the community wearing robes and holding staffs at the front of the congregation is important in raising the status of the Christian priest as a spiritual leader of all within society. The sheer number of inhabitants is also used by the Spanish to demonstrate the expansive reach of the church, while the images and patterns demonstrate the elegance of the church. The celebration of Christianity in Mexico is revealed in this picture, offering a common ground between indigenous Mexican populations and their distant rulers, the Spanish.